legendary Music Row in Nashville, Tennessee, Larrivee Guitars presents two guys fumbling their way through the music business so you don't have to. Here they are. It's Scott and it's Hino and the Music Row Show.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Music Row Show. My name is Scott.
And I'm Hino. Every week we do a show where we bring in hit songwriters, recording artists, and we talk to them about the craft and business of making music here in Nashville.
That's so my line. That's what I always say.
See? And that's how it starts.
But look, the show is not actually us talking on the camera. It's actually a live radio show that we film and share with you every week. And so what we're going to do tonight is kind of show some clips of some of our favorite performances and interviews.
Yeah, that's right. We had Heidi Newfield, who used to be in Trick Pony and went on to have a very successful recording career on her own.
Big hit with Johnny and June.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, she did a great song with her band that she brought in, and we'll share that with you right now.
Well, I'm going to do something brand new that's on the new record coming out this winter, and this is a thing that I wrote with the great Al Anderson and Leslie Satcher, and I just think it is the big Al, absolutely. I just think it's so fun to pick. This is called I Could Fall For You. Hollywood Countdown. 3, 4, 1. Like a leaf from a tree, like a baby to his knees, like a little bitty raindrop falling from a big blue sky. Oh, if I wanted to, baby, I could fall for you. Like a 7,11, the devil out of heaven, the 8 ball falling in the corner pocket feels so right. Oh, if I wanted to, baby, I could fall for you, yeah. I'm leaning your direction, I'm thinking on it all. I'm holding back affection till I decide to give you my heart. Like a tear on a bridesmaid stalks on a Monday, sun going down till the moon's coming up at night. Oh, if I wanted to, baby, I could fall for you. Oh, Craig, take it now, son. From a tree, like a baby to his knees, like a little bitty raindrop falling from a big blue sky. Oh, if I wanted to, baby, I could fall for you. Like a 7,11, the devil out of heaven, the 8 ball falling in the corner pocket feels so right. Oh, if I wanted to, baby, I could fall for you. Oh, if I wanted to, baby, I could fall for you. Oh yeah, now. Woo! Woo! Hello.
Yeah. Very nice.
Wow.
They're out there just
They
I've
are
got a
going
standing
crazy
ovation. We've got a standing
Crowd going out there.
Let's play that segment with Colin Ray.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. He kind of opened up in an unexpected way, talking about the behind-the-scenes, the way things really work in the music business that most people don't really know.
You know, one of the neat things about this show is we really love to hear the inside stories, and boy, he gave it to us in spades, and then sang a wonderful version of one of his biggest hits. Let's play that right now.
Yeah.
See, I've always been a writer, but not super prolific. I never wanted to be like Alan Jackson, write every song on the album.
Right.
But I had songs, and I thought they were pretty good. But I fell into, there's a lot of traps you fall into in Nashville. It's the good old boy town, you know, and everybody that owns a pub has a piece of this publishing company, has a piece of this studio, and has a piece of this cartage company, and they all kind of work together. It's where it looked like they're not a conflict of interest, but they're actually just helping each other out.
Right.
And so they'll say, well, your songs are, I mean, I swear you could have The Wind Beneath My Wings, and if they don't have any publishing on it, they're going to try to resist you recording it.
Okay.
Because they want to, and so I was naive rube, you know, and I was like, hey, okay, and we did get great songs. I mean, and they, so I mean, it's hard to complain when you get a song like "Love Me" or, you know, and then later on, but it's definitely a game, and if you want to be a writer, you got to establish that at the beginning, right away, because it's very hard once they go, well, he's always a great singer, but he's not a writer. You go, yes, I am. Well, why didn't you write more songs on your first album or two? They wouldn't let me. Okay, so you have to go in and say, look, this is what I am. This is what I'm going to do. If you don't like it, I'll go back home.
Right.
And they usually let you do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that at the time.
You have to set that expectation from the get-go.
So when I started trying to implement my songs, and it was tough. It was really tough because, and I'm not going to badmouth any of my producers. They were all great. I loved everyone I worked with, but they all have agendas, you know.
Sure.
And they will, you know, like, well, it's just a game. There's about 5 or 6 people kind of control the whole town, you know, and everyone's connected, and it's like a little network web of, well, we can't take the budget for the recording budget and work and spend it for my studio because it look like I'm, you know, just helping myself.
Right.
So I'll tell you what, we'll go cut at your studio, and you use my cartage company, and I'll use your sister's catering. And that's how they do it. And the idea is to take the artist's budget and spend it.
Right.
Yeah. In such a way that it doesn't
as many
look...
people in their group make money off of it as possible. That's just the way it is. And I think it's better if an artist knows that going in. But very few do. Because you trust. Most people are trusting people, and they just assume that, well, this guy's, if he's telling me this song's better than my song, I better just go with it. When chances are maybe it's not. You know, because for all the hits I had, there was always album cuts that aren't hits. And and sometimes some of the album cuts I think are better than the singles, but that's common too. Maybe they're a little deeper, you know,
right?
Sure.
Lyrically or whatever. But the first 10 years of my career was a tremendous learning curve, because I really just thought if you're really good, if you work at this and become a really good artist and know how to make records and know how to put on good shows, that's all you got to worry about.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. There's a lot more to it than that. Actually, those aspects kind of come further down the list of priorities, to be honest with you.
Wow.
You'll do and that's sad. I think that's a sign of our times, because if you look back at when I grew up, the people I loved, you know, Buck Owens, Haggard, Jones, Waylon, even before the outlaw days, you know, when he was the only daddy that walked the line. Every one of those guys was really good and really different.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody sound Ray Price. Does anybody sound like Ray Price?
No.
And so Marty Robbins, if you heard that, you immediately go, there's no sound alikes.
Right.
And so I think back then you had to be good. With very few exceptions, you had to be good to make it in this town.
And
so much
and
now.
recognizable.
Right?
And recognizable.
Different. And everyone was, and now it's kind of like, well, it's fitting a mold where you just say, well, this is what's working now, so let's go find 10 more of these guys that fit that sound like this guy, and it works. So I can see why they do it, because the bottom line is money. If it's working, don't change it, right? But as a historian of the music and someone who loves country music and you know, I mean, by the time I was 6 years old, I'd memorized every word on Johnny Horton's greatest hits, the 12 songs. I mean, I love this stuff, and so it's frustrating to see how it's kind of devolved into a strictly marketing's always been a part of it.
Sure,
don't get me wrong. I mean, Waylon would tell you himself, you know, back in the day, he would tell you, because he was doing pretty well. He was one of the strong artists, but then when they did that outlaw thing and he grew his hair out and put the gunfighter hat on, all of a sudden, bam, you know, it was marketing.
Yeah.
But there was a really great artist under that marketing, Hank Jr.
You got to back it up.
Yeah, he's Hank Williams' son and all that, but he's really good. Hank Jr. is a wonderful, great writer.
Yeah.
You know, great singer, underrated singer. Great, so marketing's fine, but when it got to a point where the powers that be start realizing really it doesn't matter with Pro Tools. It really doesn't matter if this guy or she or he can really sing. It's if we can just sell the look, And I hope that it will come back around. It's never gone as far fluff in my lifetime as it has now, as far as just all smoke and mirrors and very little substance. And that's in a way that's kind of unfair for me to say, because some of the artists, there could be a lot more substance there. We just will never know, because they're not going to be allowed to try.
Right.
They're not going to be allowed to let them try. There could be artists that are doing I drank me old beer and there could be a Merle Haggard hiding in there, but we're never going to know, because if someone was to write a Mama's Hungry Eyes and bring it to the producer, they stop them. Can you imagine? A canvas covered cabin in a crowded labor camp. It's like Shakespeare.
Yeah,
Guy's going to go, whoa.
Next.
This is sad, man. I mean, we don't want to hear that. I mean, you got anything about your truck, or do you have cornbread or beer? Tattoo. I mean, and it's just, to me, it's kind of sad. If I didn't love country music so much, I wouldn't care, but I do. Like if disco got fluffier, or let's say rap. I'm not knocking rap. That's not my cup of tea. But if rap got worse than it was in the beginning, it wouldn't bug me a bit, because I didn't like it when it came out. Yeah. But if country music means a lot to me, and I just I was at the Opry last night and watched Ricky Skaggs. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Then the Whites came on after him, and it's almost like that. You got the Opry's about the last place you can go see that.
Yeah.
That's where they're at. And then you in these huge shows, these tours now, and you go, my gosh, it's just it's changed a lot. Let me just, I guess, to sum up.
Yeah.
And I hope it changes back for the better. I think it will eventually.
Well, we'd love to hear you do a tune. You feel like playing one for us?
Sure.
Yeah.
What? You got a request or anything?
Yeah.
If I leave here to, let's see. This is kind of a different kind of. Oh, there we go.
It's got a little.
It's one of those uppity capos.
Yeah, we're uppity.
What do you feel
here.
like?
Seriously, whatever you feel like playing.
Whatever you feel like playing is good with us.
Surprises.
Okay, let's see here. What would we do without capos?
Sing
I'd
lower.
have to learn 4 chords.
I have to learn that fourth chord. How about I'll do this one. Well, I know I disappeared a time or two, and along the way I lost me and you. I needed a new town for my new start, selling VCRs in Arkansas at a Walmart. I haven't had a drink in 19 days. My eyes are clear and bright without that haze. I like the preacher from the Church of Christ. Sorry that I cried when I talked to you last night, but I think I'm on a roll here in Little Rock. I'm solid as a stone, baby, wait and see. I got just one small problem here in Little Rock. Without you, baby, I'm not me. I don't know why I held it all inside. You must have thought I'd never even tried. Your daddy told me when I left, he said, Jesus would forgive, but a daddy don't forget. And I think I'm on a roll here in Little Rock. I'm solid as a stone, baby, wait and see. I got just one small problem here in Little Rock. Without you, baby, I'm not me. Lying here upon this motel bed, my thoughts of you explode inside my head. And like a castle built upon the sand, I let love crumble in my hand. Got just one small problem here in Little Rock. Without you, baby, I'm not me. No, without you, baby, I'm not me. But I think I'm on a roll here in Little Rock. Bam.
Wow.
Thank you. Woo. Thank y'all very much.
Very nice.
So good.
Thank you.
Remember the time we had Holly Williams on?
Absolutely loved that show.
Yeah, for people who don't know, Holly Williams is the daughter of Hank Williams Jr., granddaughter of the great Hank Williams.
That's right.
And she actually, one of the cool things we were talking about, she was wearing the ring, the big famous Hank Williams Jr. ring that she got from her dad, and that was a great story that went along with that. Then she sang one of her great songs called Waiting on June.
Hey, I wonder if I get a chance to talk in this segment at all.
No. The show is much better when he doesn't talk, don't you think?
That's what I thought.
Crickets!
That's what I thought.
That's a tune called Railroads off the new album by our guest this hour, Holly Williams. The album is called The Highway. Scott, why don't you show the folks what
here
that
it
looks
is.
like there. There you go. The Highway.
Beautiful picture, too.
It is a great picture.
Well, thank you.
Very nice. So what's on? I want to look at the inside.
Please look at the booklet.
Look at this
I worked
ring.
so
Look
hard.
at this ring. Show the ring.
This is Hank Williams Jr.'s ring,
Wow.
and he handed down the family jewel about 2 months ago. I was thrilled.
Wow.
Man.
It worked out perfectly. He gave my sister a bracelet and me a ring, and usually siblings, I'd be like, I want that, you want that. And we both are like, I want mine, you take yours. We both love him as much, and I'm so thrilled. It feels kind of like ghetto fabulous, prideful to wear it, but I'm like, it's my dad's ring.
No, it's
kind of-
absolutely.
I love it.
And I just wonder how many people over the past 30-some years have that HW imprinted
Imprinted on their-
somewhere on their forehead, for smarting off to them.
Exactly. Probably a few.
Probably.
What you going to sing us?
I'm going to sing a song called Waiting on June. Off the record, it's definitely the most important, kind of close to home song I've written. It's about my grandparents on the other side, on my mom's side. They were the ones I knew growing up and spent a lot of time on their Louisiana farm. And it's kind of the story, if my grandfather had written a song to my grandmother about their life together.
Okay.
She was from North Louisiana in the town of Meroot. I fell in love in a week or two. It didn't take long to love a girl like that. We were barely 10 in the cotton fields, playing horseshoe with the colored kids. I tried to kiss her, she grabbed a baseball bat. I was waiting on June. I hope she comes to see me, waiting on June. I can't take this feeling of waiting on June. I pray to God she'll love me one of these days. I hope I find my way, waiting on June. Well, I went off in 42 to fight those boys and pay my dues. Her wallet picture kept my spirits high. Charlie boy died in my arms. He saw Jesus, I saw blood. It soaked her wallet picture that cold night. Well, I told my best friend Charlie I would kiss his girls goodbye. He made me promise I'd go home and make Miss June my wife. Shaking like a drunk old fool, I hopped off of that plane, and I ran home to ask her in the rain, waiting on June. I hope that she says yes, waiting on June. In her faded summer dress, waiting on June. Her daddy shook my hand, and she lit up the moment I pulled out that silver band, waiting on June. Well, we married at the Methodist church birds found a big white cow and a piece of dirt with pecan trees to build our homestead on. Joel and Becky, then Donovan, Shelby. Our tiny house was a sanctuary. Laughter filled those rooms all day long. Yeah, we were waiting on June. She's putting on her makeup, we're waiting on June. She's trying to get her hair curled, waiting on June. Kids, listen to me. You walk on down to Sunday school, I'll be there in 15, waiting on June. Well, the time flew by like I said it would. Yeah, the kids grew fast and the farm did good. Miss Bertha made our supper every day. At noon that silver bell would ring. We'd all say grace and dig on in. We always ate together in those days. Oh, one by one those kids went off and found a love their own. There's nothing like the joy I knew when they brought their babies home. We'd play all day in the cotton fields with the dogs I raised up and ride. And in Grandma's kitchen every night, waiting on June. Honey, don't burn the bacon, waiting on June. Our bellies are aching, waiting on June. She turns that fork so slow, and we all had to sit there till the last bite was no more, waiting on June. We were slower than we used to be. The nursing home told June and me that we'd have separate rooms side by side. Oh, what I'd give for one more night of sleeping with my wife. Since 45 I've touched her skin in the middle of the night. So I'm lying in this single bed until they cut those lights. That's when she'll sneak in and I'll be fine. Waiting on June so we can kiss goodnight. Waiting on June. I'll hold her hand so tight. Waiting on June. I'll love her till I die. It's bittersweet when love grows old and you really miss your wife. Waiting on June. Well, they buried me last Tuesday morn. The good Lord came, He took me home. I closed my eyes, I quickly went away. Angels let me see her every day. Waiting on June. Our mansion is so grand. Waiting on June. Footprints in the sand. Waiting on June. That's the story of my life. It's me and Jesus. We're standing here till she walks through that light. Waiting on June. I'm still waiting on June. I'm always waiting on June. No more waiting on June.
Wow.
Ooh, very nice.
The great Mac Davis came and joined us on the show a few weeks ago, and that was an amazing experience. I mean, hit songwriter not only for himself, but for lots of other artists like Elvis, for example.
Absolutely. And then one of his big hits, Baby Don't Get Hooked on Me, he had a great story about that.
Oh, yeah. And not too many people know this, but that song actually started out as a joke. Here, we'll let him tell the story. Now, he's going to tell the story. Zip. Zip. Thank you.
I love the fact that song kind of started out as a joke, didn't it?
Yeah, my producer was Rick Hall down at the Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And we'd been recording down there, and he just jumped on me and says, you know what? You keep bringing those old syrupy love ballads in here, we're never going to get a hit. He says, you give away all your hook songs to Elvis and Bobby Goldsboro and Kenny Rogers, and you never bring me a hook song. You just got these old love songs. And you're going to have a hook, or we're not going to get it. I said, okay, I get it. So I went up to his office up there, and as a joke, I wrote down, baby, don't get hooked on me. And I wrote a little chorus, and I walked back down the studio and kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge with the musicians down there. And I said, what's this? And I said, hey, Rick, I got you a hook song. He said, what is it? And I played, baby, baby, don't get hooked on me. Baby, baby, don't get hooked on, et cetera, et cetera. Or I'll just use you, then I'll set you free. Well, my favorite line. At any rate, he said, that's a smash. And I said, no, you don't get it, Rick. It's a joke. It's a hook song, right? Baby, don't get a hook. He says, I don't care what it is. It's a smash. He said, we're going to cut it. And I said, well, I don't even have it written. He says, well, cut it anyway. Because I only had one more day there. And so we put together a little skeleton chord progression and cut a little basic track on it. And I went back to the hotel at night, the majestic Howard Johnson's there in Muscle Shoals.
Oh, that's nice.
I love that place.
Wrote some lyrics for it, and I came back the next day, put a vocal on it, and when I left, all the guys in the studio says, you know that's a hit. And I'm going, no, if that's a hit, I'll buy y'all a Cadillac.
Uh-oh.
Big mistake. I never did buy it either. I hate to admit it. I lied.
Cadillac.
Well, you only said you'd buy him a Cadillac.
Cadillac.
They could have
That's
just shared one.
I said I'd buy y'all a Cadillac, not each one of them.
Right,
And I
that's
started to send them I was tried to find an old Cadillac hearse, and I was going to paint to the Fame Gang on the side of it and send it, but I never got around to that either.
Darn it.
I was too busy being me.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I was at Fame Studios recently, and they have a thing that says parking for anybody but Mac Davis who never bought us a Cadillac. So that's interesting. I don't know what that means.
You're right.
But what I thought was interesting, though, is even after you recorded it, you're like, this is just
well,
a
it
little...
wasn't me, it was this. Well, actually, I was Mel Chauvin's Pig Song of the Year in Ms. Magazine.
Oh, congratulations.
And I actually was kind of proud of that.
Yeah.
Until Paul Anka came along with You're Having My Baby and took it away from me.
Oh, darn it, Paul.
Yeah, that one line does kind of, you probably got some reaction from the ladies at some point.
It did, yeah. And it's funny, when I wrote it, I didn't mean for it to be, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
It didn't stop it from being a hit. It became a big hit, and the young girls seemed to like it in that day.
Back then, well, we hear that a lot with people that say, gosh, I didn't even think this was a great song. Bobby Braddock didn't love. He stopped loving her today.
Right.
He didn't think that was a great song. So, is there ever a time when you actually feel like you got a pulse on what's a hit or not when you're the writer?
Yeah, sometimes you write one and you just go, yeah, that's a hit. I felt that way with Within the Ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew that was going to be a hit. And I wrote it, and I didn't care who did it. I felt like it was going to be a hit.
Okay.
I was thrilled when Elvis decided to do it, and he fought to get it cut. The label didn't want him to do it.
Really?
And the Colonel didn't want him to do it. No, it was not his image. It wasn't a love
Too
song.
topical.
Well, it was not a protest song, but it was a message song,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't feel like that was Elvis's image. It wasn't the type of thing that he should release, especially as a single. But he fought to do it, and Chips Moman fought to do it. The producer, Chips Moman.
Right.
And when they cut it, they knew it was going to be a hit. And I felt the one that I really knew was going to be a hit was It's Hard to Be Humble. Of all things,
Yes.
After having written, it's hard to mention In the Ghetto and It's Hard to Be Humble in the same sentence.
Right.
Because It's Hard to Be Humble was just a kind of a satire of this dork who can't understand, why he doesn't have any friends or girlfriends because he's just so in love with himself. But I wrote that thing in Lake Tahoe, and I just wrapped. I did this football movie called North Dallas 40.
Yeah.
It was like 11 straight weeks of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and working 12, 16 hours a day. And I got used to the habit of getting up at 5 in the morning. And as soon as we wrapped that movie, I had to go to Lake Tahoe and open there for 2 weeks. And when I get there, I'm still on movie time.
Oh, no.
I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning on opening day, and I'm by myself. I got nobody to call. I'm wandering around in the Star Suite there, which is looked like it was decorated by Sammy Davis on a bad day. I mean, guilt, and it made Elvis's place look like, Bubblegum City. It had smoked glass mirrors and ceilings 30 feet high and all the big old thick shag rug. And I'm wandering around in there buck naked, nobody to call, nobody to talk to. And I looked in the mirror for a minute. I said, well, it's hard to be humble, ain't it? And I went, oh, there's an idea for a song.
There you go.
And so I sat down and wrote one verse, one chorus of the song. And that night when we got on stage, I sang it, just me and my guitar. And women started poking their husbands in the ribs and pointing at them, going, that's him. And guys were slamming their beer bottles on the table and saying, yeah, that's me. And I knew it was a hit. You could just smell it. And I started singing the thing on stage. I quickly wrote a second verse and another chorus. And I'd go out on the road then, and we'd be in front of 20,000, 30,000 people. And I would start singing it. And by the end of the song, this is before I even recorded it.
Right.
I'd get to singing, and everybody, to a man, 20,000 people would be singing. I'd even make the state troopers down guard the stage. I'd say, come on, you got to sing it too. And they'd start singing. And it was, you knew it was going to be a hit. And I still, to this day, people they'll stop me and say, hey, is it still hard to be humble, man? And it's like, God.
And then we got the rare opportunity to actually sing with Mac Davis a little bit of one of his big hits.
I don't mind telling you, I was pretty amazing. Spectacular even.
Yeah.
I'll let you judge for yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was great. Here it is.
We asked him to do a song and he agreed. So what do you think you might be playing for us?
Well, you said hard to be humble.
Yeah,
I said I'd do it if you'd sing along. I even want people out in the hallway to sing along.
All right.
Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. I can't wait to look in the mirror. Louder. I get better looking each day. To know me is to love me. Must be a hell of a man. Must be a hell of a man. Y'all are too sober. Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. That's enough of that. Yeah. That's all. Bobby Braddock was singing along with me out there.
That's awesome.
Hey, we had Lee Greenwood on around the 4th of July this last year, and just to be in a room with someone that's that legendary and that he's known for that voice though, and it's hard to imagine someone that smooth and that suave to be in marching band.
That is true. And what
Not that there's anything wrong with marching band.
Well, that's true. We love marching bands. But he did a little something on our show that he's never done on any other show. He gave us kind of a peek into how he comes up with the melodies for the songs that he writes.
This is a The Music Row Show exclusive. Check it out.
I thought it might be interesting for people who don't know that I'm a sax player at all, that I'll show you how the melody sits with my ears by playing the sax on the track. And I brought a track with me, so if you'll play the track, let me put my earphones on, then I can hear you play the track. I'll go ahead and play the melody up into the chorus, just where we faded out on that.
Okay.
So go ahead and,
We've never had saxophones.
There you go. I wish I could do that with my voice as much.
All right. Anyways, Bellamy Brothers. Let me tell you about the Bellamy Brothers. Good bunch of guys. There's actually four of them.
Two of them.
There's actually four of them. We just didn't see the other two. But no, the Bellamy Brothers came on the show. They were unbelievable.
Yeah.
Been a fan of theirs for a long time. Redneck Girl, Reggae Cowboy.
If I said you had a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? They actually did that song, which was great. And then they told a pretty funny story about Reggae Cowboy, that they actually got into some hot water because a lot of people in the audience misinterpreted what the title really was. It's a pretty good story.
They've lived a lot of their life in hot water, actually. I think they're pretty okay with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the Bellamy Brothers.
So what do you guys feel like playing for us?
Well, this is not a gospel song.
No.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
This is one of the old hits.
All right, awesome.
2, 3, 4. If I said you have a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? If I swore you were an angel, would you treat me like the devil tonight? If I was dying of thirst, would your flowing love come and quench me? If I said you have a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? Now we could talk all night about the weather, tell you about my friends out on the coast. I could ask a lot of crazy questions, or ask you what I really want to know. So if I said you have a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? If I swore you were an angel, would you treat me like the devil tonight? If I was dying of thirst, would your flowing love come and quench me? If I said you have a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? The rain can fall so soft against the window, the sun can shine so bright up in the sky. But Daddy always told me, don't make small talk. He said, come on out and say what's on your mind. So if I said you have a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? If I swore you were an angel, would you treat me like the devil tonight? If I was dying of thirst, would your flowing love come and quench me? If I said you have a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? If I said you have a beautiful body, would you hold it against me?
Nice.
Yeah. Woo! Very nice. And that
I love
was,
that song.
we should point out that was an all Larrivee performance.
Yes.
That was.
Laravee's everywhere.
Now you guys kind of, I guess, introduced reggae to country radio for
I
pretty
think
much,
so.
didn't you?
I think so. We actually got in a lot of trouble.
Did you?
And the way that all happened is Jimmy Bowen was producing us at the time, and he had a wife named Dixie. It was his second wife named Dixie. He had two wives. Imagine, what are the chances?
What
of
are you
that?
thinking?
Yeah,
Used
really.
to call them Dixie 1 and Dixie.
Dixie 1 and Dixie. Well, Dixie 2, she had a lot of influence on him at that time, and we had turned a demo of Reggae Cowboys into Bowen, and she heard it, and she loved it, so she influenced him into doing that.
Way to go, Dixie, too.
Yeah, and but little do we know, we got a lot of feedback, or he did, the whole record company did at the time.
label, they would get letters back when they released it to radio, and it was the time Ronald Reagan was president, and they were going, what is this Reagan? Get into Reagan Cowboy. and then they said,
get this.
Said, what is this real gay?
Yeah,
cowboy?
real gay cowboy.
Oh no,
And-
Real gay cowboy.
They just, it was a little ahead of its time for country, and Reggie Cowboy, was
Reggie,
Reggie Cowboy.
Reggie the Cowboy, and all
Lord.
of these things. And
But,
I would have never even thought of that.
Well, we didn't
either.
either. Somebody did.
somebody made it up,
But how about just before it was released, just the fact that it was that style? Was it, you said the record company never wanted to record what you guys wanted to? Was that another one of those instances?
well, by that time we had started recording down at the ranch.
Okay.
And we brought Bowen down there and
Got him stoned.
Got him
to be
stoned
honest
and-
with you.
Jimmy Bowen?
Yeah.
Okay.
and our dad cooked fried chicken for him, and he played golf all day. So he was having a really
Yeah, he
good
had no
time.
So yeah, what's not to like?
We learned how to manipulate him.
You learned how to
He was
make
good
it
and
happen.
relaxed.
Yeah, he was good and relaxed down there. Yeah. So it kind of he got into that kind of hippie cowboy vibe down there. So we had a lot of fun with the Low Cash Cowboys a few months back. Now they're a newer group on the scene as recording artists, and it's actually kind of unusual because we like to usually bring in people that are more seasoned.
But they've also had a lot of hits for other artists, like
Including-
Keith Urban, for example.
And Tim McGraw.
That's right.
Truck Yeah.
Truck Yeah, and but now they're branching out on their own, and they've got a new project out, and they did one of the singles off their new album.
It's hard to believe we'd not practiced or written anything up for this, isn't it?
No, we just kind of wing it.
We're just that
It's
good.
just, no, we're that bad.
That good.
Don't you want to see more of this? I bet you do.
It's called Chase a Little Love. Come on over here, boys. Come on. I got a Saturday night girl that I've been saving. You got a sweet kiss I've been dying to taste it. Taste it. Been dying to taste it. Baby, take off them shades and let me see them blue eyes. Wanna look real deep and get lost in them one time, maybe all night. Whoa, whoa, I got an empty seat. Whoa, whoa, so hop in with me. Let's take a ride, moonlight, do whatever feels right. Your lips on mine, and all the stop signs, radio so slow. Creep down the road, ain't nobody gotta know where we at. Let's go. Catch a feeling, park up on the hill and turn out the lights and chase a little love tonight. Yeah, baby, this old truck ain't no Range Rover. It's got a custom leather bench seat so you can slide over. Get closer, yeah, you're right up on my shoulder. Whoa, whoa, yeah, let's roll them down. Whoa, and rock the speakers out and take a ride, moonlight, do whatever feels right. Your lips on mine, hit all the stop signs, radio so slow. Creep down the no road, ain't nobody gotta know where we at. Let's go. Catch a feeling, walk up on the hill and turn out the lights and chase a little love tonight. Here we go. Shine the wheels, watch that truck be line. Gonna pick you up, there you go. Looking fine, sure enough, gonna make you mine. Yeah, let's roll them down. And rock the speakers out and take a ride, moonlight, do whatever feels right. Your lips on mine, hit all the stop signs, radio so slow. Creep down the no road, ain't nobody gotta know where we at. Let's go. Catch a feeling, park up on the hill and turn out the lights and chase a little love tonight. Chase a little love tonight. Chase a little love, whoa, chase a little love, chase a little love tonight, and chase a little love tonight.
Wow. Nice job, you guys.
You know, Heino, if there's in Nashville in the songwriting scene, if there was a rock star, if there was ever a rock star in our community,
Jeffrey Steele.
It's Jeffrey Steele.
Jeffrey Steele.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hit after hit after hit.
Hate him.
Yeah, we both really don't. No,
Yeah,
he's
no, just
fantastic, actually. One of the nicest guys around, and so talented. And he came on and stayed on for the whole show, but then also did a great number.
Did a great rendition of one of his big hits from Montgomery Gentry. Something to be proud of.
Now, I understand that you kind of wanted to be part of Creedence Clearwater Revival when you were a kid. Tell us about that. What made you want to be John Fogerty when you were a kid?
Well, I remember when I was about 8 years old, I went on a fishing trip, and I caught my first fish on that trip up at the Kern River just north of Bakersfield. And my dad had this old Fireball trailer, and my mom used to keep a radio in there, and I just remember hearing Born on the Bayou when I was about 8 years old, and the way that John Fogerty was singing that song. So I started imitating that when I was a little kid, much to my parents' dismay. They thought I was going to, scream my lungs out, and but it's just a song that just affected me so strongly in the very beginning. And then as I got older and found out that John grew up in Northern California and never lived on a bayou, but wrote that song, that intrigued me even more, that he could write about that place with never having been there in his life. So as I got older, that was like, how did he pull that off?
So in general, were you aware of the concept of songwriters at that age, or did you?
No, when I was a kid, I had no idea. I used to write songs. I used to see stuff on TV, and I'd make up songs about it. I remember when Mr. Coffee, the Mr. Coffee machine first came out. I made up a jingle without even knowing I was making up a jingle, and I played it for my older sister, and she thought I was very clever. And she goes, "You should do that more. You should do that more." And then as I went through bands in high school and all that, I was, just making up songs.
Yeah.
Mostly to get girls, rhyming words and carrying a guitar around.
It helps. It helps.
Yeah, and then as I went on, it wasn't really until I came back here in 1987. Tony Brown had seen me at a showcase in California, and told me that he wanted to cut one of my songs for Steve Wariner at the time in '87. And I didn't know what I didn't know what he meant by cut. What do you mean you want to cut one of my songs? I don't understand.
Only play half of it?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Cut it out. He goes, well, I'm going to cut that song on Steve Wariner. I'd like to cut it, and so that was the first, ever thought about songwriting professionally. I'd always written songs, but then when I came back here, a few years later, I was in the band Boy Howdy, and they set me up for a writing appointment. And my last day here on that trip, I think it was 1990, last day on that trip, I wrote She'd Give Anything to Fall in Love with Vince Malamet. It's a co-write,
Yeah.
And Chris Farron, and went home and went, wow, that was cool. People sit around and write songs. And they, that's what they do. That's their job.
Yeah.
So that was the first switch, I think, that flipped and went, and then I just kind of gravitated. I kept coming back here and into the early 90s, and then eventually, stayed.
Here you are.
Yeah.
How about that?
We twisted Jeffrey's arm, and we restrung a couple guitars to make him left-handed, and he's going to do a tune for us. So
What do you want to hear? What am I going to do?
Whatever you feel like doing.
Oh, boy.
Do that one song.
That one song about the guy.
Do that one you like.
One about the broken heart?
And My Soul. Do this one about the soul.
Yeah, My Soul.
Well, let me do this one.
All right.
I haven't done this in a while. This song, hopefully you haven't played it. I don't know if you played it on the breaker.
There's a story that my daddy tells religiously, like clockwork every time he sees an opening in a conversation about the way things used to be. Well, I just roll my eyes and make a beeline for the door, but I'd always end up starry-eyed, cross-legged on the floor, hanging on to every word. man, the things I heard. It was harder times, longer days, 5 miles of school uphill both ways. We were cane switch raised, dirt floor, poor course. That was back before the war. Yeah, your uncle and I, we made quite a pair, flying F-15s through hostile air. He went down, but they missed me by a hair. He'd always stop right there and say, that's something to be proud of. That's a life you can hang your hat on. That's a chin held high as a tear falls down. A gut sucked in, chest stuck out like a small town flag flying, or a newborn baby crying in the arms of the woman that you love. That's something to be proud of. Whoa, yeah. A son graduating college, that was mama's dream. But I was on my way to anywhere else when I turned 18. 'Cause when you got a fast car, man, you think you got everything. But I learned quick those GTOs don't run on faith. And I ended up broken down in some town north of LA, working maximum hours for a minimum wage. I fell in love, next thing I know, the babies came and the car got sold. I sure do miss that old hot rod, but you sure save gas in these foreign jobs. Dad, I wonder if I ever let you down, or if you're ashamed how I turned out. He lowered his voice, and then he raised his brow. So let me tell you right now, that's something to be proud of. That's a life you can hang your hat on. You don't need to make a million. Be thankful to be working. If you're doing what you're able to put food there on the table and providing for that family that you love, that's something to be proud of. And if all you ever really do is the best you can, well, you did it, man. 'Cause that's something to be proud of. That's a life you can hang your hat on. That's a chin held high as a tear falls down. A gut sucked in, chest stuck out. Small town flag flying, or a newborn baby crying in the arms of the woman that you love. That's something to be proud of. That's something to be proud of. That's something to be proud of. Whoa, yeah. Yeehaw. Something to be proud of.
Hey, y'all, thanks for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. If you did, let Dish know, because we'd love to be seeing you more on Blue Highways TV.
In the meantime, you can catch us on the radio at 6:50 a.m. WSM, the Grand Ole Opry station here in Nashville, or you can also catch us online at themusicrowshow.com.
That's right. Facebook, Twitter us, whatever you
All
kids
that
do
great
nowadays.
stuff.
Thanks again for watching, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks.
Love to hear from you.
Strong heart, sing loud, and right on, right on, right on.
Now do we do the Olin Mills thing and kind of look off into the distance?